Okay, hello CUNA. Today I'm going to be reviewing a leaked document from the Professional Firefighters of Idaho so you can get a glimpse into how they think about things in terms of the politics. It's just the way that the game is, and you get a little sneak peek. Just so you're aware, they do endorse Melissa Durrant, who is the current representative. Chris Bruce, which is the councilman for CUNA, is running against her. And then Shaun Dygert is running against the incumbent Tina Lambert. So we will see. We'll get a little glimpse of how they think. Now, this is written by Shaun Laughlin. Shaun, he lives in CUNA. He is actually a committeeman. I'm not sure how active he is. Probably not. I don't know if he still lives where he put his address when he ran for it. But yeah, if he's still there, he still lives in CUNA. So anyway, here is the legislative update. As we pass what is hopefully the middle of the legislative session and as our 2024 convention approaches, I want to send out an update from the PFFI lobby team. Your PFFI lobby team has been working diligently against foes from all over the country as we see many more anti-union bills than usual introduced this year. We have successfully mired down many bad bills with the help of some of our courageous friends that hold committee chairs, but with unreal political pressure from the far right in some leadership positions and the state party, some are sure to be pulled out of the drawers and run. Here is a summary of the legislations we are watching and working on, depending on status, and my take on their future. Now, keep in mind when they say drawers and run, that means committee chairs can basically stuff a bill into the drawer, like in a desk, so to speak, to make it never see the light of day. Basically disappear and never get voted on. Now, this was written back in February 17th, so this right in the middle of the session. So the session has ended, but it's interesting to hear how they perceive, how they describe their foes on the far right. Anyway, H389 fire code violations misdemeanor. Sponsor Rep Kenny Roten. Roten is running this as a favor to the state fire marshal's office. It would put into statute what is currently only in rule. What consistent violations by subcontractors of the adopted IFC may be considered a misdemeanor given certain circumstances. We were asked by Roten to give our 2 cents on overreach versus enforceability. We are staying neutral since it is not a PFFI issue, but I recommended he bring the state fire marshal's office and the builders who are adamantly opposed to the bill together and force them to bring you something you can run. Currently, it is being held in House business, and I assume it will die there, as both Crane brothers are on that committee, and they would be subject to the law if it were be placed there. PFFI neutral. S1254 Firefighters Day sponsor Senator Chris Trakel. He's definitely on the freedom side. This bill would make a holiday for firefighters within the state of Idaho, although he argues it is not simply a day to honor firefighters. That is all the language does. There is no pay, no day off, just a day to honor firefighters. We are going to oppose this bill. Senator Trakel is not a supporter of ours, but this seems to be a bill he is running to vote a certain way where the public rarely researches against public safety, while being able to campaign that he supports public safety because, well, look, I made them a day. We've asked Chairman Guthrie to hold it indefinitely, and so far he has. He said we will talk again if he gets pressured to run it. PFFI oppose. So there's a little bit of backroom dealings. Don't let that bill see the light of day. S1255 Peace Officers Day sponsor Chris Trakel. Here again. Same as 1254, but for cops. FOP is against it, but won't spend any time arguing. Paul Jagish with Idaho, I think that's a fraternal order of police, which also happens to support Shaun Dygert. Shaun Dygert running against Tina Lambert, relates that they already have 2 days in Idaho that honors police officers and they do not need another. PFFI will oppose it for the same reason as S1254. PFFI oppose. S1259 bargaining secret ballots sponsor Brian Lenny. This bill is poorly organized and incorrectly aimed, attempting to amend IC Title 72, which is a work comp code section attack on unions that attempts to decertify unions due to lack of willing members. The language insinuates that people are forced to pressure to sign cards or continue their membership and would remove simple card check votes. or certifications requiring an election by secret ballot by the director of the Department of Labor or school district, etc., to prove a 50% plus one before any contract negotiations can occur. The language shoots broadly at all unions, but includes language that would render it unenforceable on private sector unions due to the precedents of the National Labor Relations Act. When it comes to voting for representation by a union, I discussed this with DVP Walsh, and the way that IAFF performs votes mirrors the NLRA process. So once again, it is aimed primarily at teachers. If there isn't a 50% plus one, the employer would no longer have to negotiate a contract. Our fire unions are generally in the 98 to 100% representation, and they know this. And it doesn't apply to private sector unions. So cops and teachers are the real victims here. So far, we have been able to convince Chairman Cook to hold this bill. It could come out at any time since he is under censure by 4 counts by the state of Idaho GOP. I gave him a list of counterpoints as reasons to hold it, but there are elections coming and censure means no money from the party for them. PFFI oppose. S1315 Percy. Reemployment sponsor Jim Guthrie. This bill seeks to repeal 2023's 1054 language, which current return to work. Please keep reading. We are in support of this action. So far, 0 firefighter members have used this code section, and 19 others have. Of those 19 are the Nampa police chief, a Nampa deputy police chief, and 2 senior police officers. All 4 have violated the spirit, and in at least 2 cases, the letter of the law. The last 2 that I know of were guaranteed rehire, kept their seniority, their work schedule, the spot on their team, and their rank. The code violation is a guarantee of work. It is not allowed, and Nampa Police Chief Huff himself told me he gave those 2 senior officers a conditional offer of employment and made them wait 35 days so it didn't look bad. However, he also called this time a vacation for them or a mini sabbatical. So long story kind of short, we are in favor of repeal. Some of our members make $35,000 per year as professionals, and they will be paying more into Percy on July 1st. So Nampa's police chief can make an estimated $270,000 per year as police chief between his salary and Percy retirement benefits. We feel this is wrong. Although we are in favor of full repeal, the fire chiefs and the police chiefs are working diligently to provide Chairman Guthrie with a bill he can stomach with certain sideboards. Otherwise, he will just run it for full repeal. We will support whatever Guthrie agrees to that will hopefully remove the Percy increase necessary on July 1st, or at least limit its future increases. H602 Taxpayer Funds Teacher Union sponsor Representative Hawkins. This is a bill that they've been working to kill before the session even started. This bill seeks to eliminate all teachers' union activities under the guise that taxpayer money goes to subsidize teachers' unions. This is a National Freedom Foundation bill that has been and continues to be run all over the country. It is currently being run in Utah. It seeks to define many activities as union activities and proceeds to forbid them all, and actually allows for civil penalties. But the latest draft includes civil penalties against public officials, which is currently undefined. The old draft allowed anyone to sue a teacher for either $500, $2,000, or $5,000, given certain circumstances for violations. We have a coalition built to kill this with Idaho Education Association, PFFI, Idaho FOP, and Idaho AFL-CIO. But I feel as though we are doing most of the work on this due to the nationwide experience with this bill. We know that if we allow the teachers to be taken down this year, we will be on the menu next year. We will be working with our friends in the legislature to not only vote this down, but send a message that this legislation is not welcome here. Unfortunately, it seems to be welcome here. PFFI oppose. H605 Labor Unions Notice sponsor Jason Gallagher. I put on feelers, but I don't know what this is yet. Okay. This probably sucks also. Your lobby team started this year learning the vast history of the Firemen's Retirement Fund and began exploring how the fire insurance premium tax was enveloped into it. We have over 500 pages of House and Senate committee minutes, testimony bills, and interim committee notes to read and digest, and we will continue to do so. But these anti-union bills will last until the end of the session. Fortunately, with these bills coming out, we really know who supports us during the upcoming election season. We will be adamant about our members taking part in the elections this year, since many chairmen and women have gone to the mat for us already, possibly at the expense of their chair and maybe even their seats in the legislature. Off the top of my head, Representative Julie Yamamoto, chair of the House Education. She would not hear the anti-teacher bill. She was sort of threatened by the Freedom Foundation, secondhand information, to hear this bill, but held strong. She will need money and manpower to stay in the legislature, let alone her chair position. Senator Kevin Cook, Chair, Senate Commerce and Human Resources. He is currently holding an anti-union bill brought by Tammy Nichols and is also holding S1259. As I said, Tammy Nichols is big on the freedom faction. As I said, he is up on 4 counts of violating the state GOP platform, and they could strip his ability to run as a Republican, which is a campaign death sentence for him. Senator Dave Lent, chair of the Senate Education, also would not hear the anti-teacher bill. He told me that he was pressured by Brody Aston, the contract lobbyist for Freedom Foundation, and a representative from the Freedom Foundation, and he completely lost his cool with them due to their condescending attitudes and disrespect of their teaching profession. Ask me sometime about the lobbyist mentioned above. All 3 of these chairmen will be targeted hard by the Idaho Freedom Foundation, the Freedom Foundation, ALEC, Mountain States Policy Center, and all the other think tanks out there seeking to destroy unions across America. They are superbly funded and send out messaging that points horrible pictures of moderate and not so moderate Republicans with outright lies and bent truths. But what we have is local donors and our members who must be willing to get out and walk neighborhoods by our friends in the legislature. Plant the seeds for the upcoming primary season. We must show up. Fraternally, Shaun. All right. I think it speaks for itself. So that's who you're dealing with. And, that's the problem with where you have government-funded employees basically advocating or lobbying for, their continued and increased wages or increased money for their programs. And obviously, they're working against that. What could we get rid of it if we went back to the original voting requirements where it was white male landowners? Possibly. I just think, if you are, I would just say, look, if you're a government employee, you should not be able to get to vote. Or, if you get if you're a full-time government employee, you don't get to vote. If you're just I don't know. This is a whole nother discussion, which I'm not going to go into. All right. Have a good one. Bye-bye.